Hello everyone, and welcome back to Acupuncture is My Life. Now, today, I've gotten tons of requests to talk about the UK strain because many are concerned about it globally. I've received, I've been in a private chat session within the last 16 hours with someone from Iran and another person from Thailand who's downloaded the Acupuncture is My Life app to discuss their concern about the UK strain. And I will say before I really jump into this subject, if you don't already have the Acupuncture is My Life app, go to the Google Play Store and download it, so that if you'd like to engage in private chat sessions with anyone from Acupuncture is My Life, you can. And if you'd like an interesting topic or a topic of choice to be discussed relative to health, you can place that request and you may hear it over a future podcast. As well as you can ask questions on certain subjects of discussion, and I may answer it in future podcasts as well, answer those questions. But right now, there's huge concern over the UK strain, and the one individual from Iran, the other one from Thailand, they've brought it to my attention, and I've looked it up, that this strain has already been found in over 80 countries and territories across the globe, around the planet. Yeah, over 80 countries and territories. It's huge concern because it's understood that the transmissibility of this virus, this mutated version, this mutated strain, it's like off the charts. Like it's crazy. And here in the United States, it's spreading so fast that it's mind-boggling. And the concern here from immunologists here in the United States is, people aren't being vaccinated fast enough, and certain vaccination sites are running out of vaccines rapidly, leaving people in long lines. And I also understand that the UK strain is really hitting the states of California and Florida hard. It's understood that it's doubling like every 10 days. That's some serious cause for concern. See, this is why it's good to have an acupuncturist. Have your own acupuncturist. And this is why I push for people, not just in the United States, but across the globe. Seek out a local acupuncturist, sit with them, and discuss your concerns relative to this virus. Now, I've already engaged in quite a bit of telehealth conferences with people from South America, with people from the Netherlands, as well as people from here in the United States. And regarding this virus, what are their options, a recommended anecdotal approach to this. I do talk to them about the CHT package, but then, along with recommending that they sit with their primary care physician, or sit with an acupuncturist and just talk about ways in which you can enhance immunity. are there herbal formulas that can be beneficial to you? Because, for one, here in the United States, scientists, researchers are urging that the UK variant be monitored much better than it has been in the recent past, or there can be devastating consequences. They're saying that if it's left unchecked, or if it's being monitored and at the present rate, it'll dominate other strains here in the United States. And that's cause for concern. They're saying like the B117, which is the UK variant, they're expecting it to become the dominant variant in the United States by March, which basically at this point is next month. And a lot are concerned, but it's just interesting that I engaged in private chat sessions from someone from Thailand, from someone from Iran about this huge concern, the strain, because it's my understanding that in the UK there's some sort of lockdown going on right now pertaining to this. I have a colleague from a Chinese medical colleague in the Netherlands that's saying that they're being locked down again. So, this is interesting. I mean, we have to be proactive when it comes to our health. I really, really don't know how to emphasize that more than how I'm doing it now. Not just in this conversation, but previous podcasts, future podcasts, because even those that haven't been infected by this virus, they're being affected by the existence of this virus. Mentally, the mental toll that this is taking, the restrictions that are attached to it, is taking on the human psyche, not just in the United States, but globally. It's a tragedy. It's tragic. It's man, wow. This is why I started a 19-part series on the pandemic and the human psyche that will run every Sunday for the next 19 weeks. And in that series, I'll talk about ways in which you can benefit from acupuncture as an adjunctive form of care. And this is like along with whatever type of regimen your doctor puts you on, or you have a psychologist or psychiatrist that you sit with and talk to. Or even if it's your primary focus, your primary point of care. But it's all about being proactive at this point, at this stage of the game. And I can't emphasize how much or how important it is to pay attention to what you put in your mouth. You decide at any point that you have an urge for junk food, all you have to say to yourself is, nope. You decide you have an urge, a craving for alcohol. Nope. You decide you want to pick up that cigarette. Nope. You see, it's not a thing where we should sit back and say, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Let me just wait to hear what my doctor says. Yeah, confiding in your doctor, that's great. It's good. It's good to have someone who's been trained in healthcare to talk to, because they can also give you insight on, which direction you can take with regard to your health, with regard to nutrition and so forth. This is why on Wednesdays we have the Eastern Nutrition episode running. Wednesdays is like, it's key. It's super important. Because a lot of even my existing patients listen to the Wednesday episodes, and I'm bombarded with questions when they come into the office. I even get phone calls from people in other states. What should I eat? What should I eat? And I start out by just telling them, just go to acupunctureismylife.com, click on Eastern Nutrition, and go from there. Listen to the channel, and some will ask certain questions, and when I get a moment to have a sit down with Chef Kiara, and her schedule is like, it's insane. It's super busy, but super congested, but she finds the time to sit and make recommendations from an Eastern nutrition perspective. And she's given me something interesting to talk about this coming Wednesday. And that is the COVID-19 stew. And the properties of certain foods that are beneficial for you relative to this pandemic. What surprised me was, like, I had come across an article where a 9-year-old died in her sleep 3 days after having become infected with this virus. Don't know which strain. And recently, over the past 2 weeks, there's been several children dying from this virus under the age of 16. That number seems to be going up, and it's definitely cause for concern. Because here at Acupuncture is My Life, we're starting to see a few parents bring their children into the clinic for treatment to enhance their immunity, which is interesting. You see, acupuncture is great. It's awesome. Along with me recommending that the parent also sit down with the pediatrician and, discuss other alternative care. It's not a one size fits all. But how proactive can you be? Which is super important, But when it comes to the UK strain, you have European countries that are experiencing a growth rate of this variant at a little more than 10% per day. That is cause for concern. Because this virus is showing signs that it can be like 35 to 45% more transmissible than other strains that are presently in circulation. Along with that, just think about like the rate at which this virus is mutating. Which has created another level of concern. And this is why the series on the pandemic and the human psyche is super important for you guys to tune into on Sundays. And even in my weekly podcast, I'll touch on that a little extra, because it's a lot of people are concerned. I mean, I have colleagues who are psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists, that when we have our little coffee hour as a group, I mean, their patient base is exploding. We look at the numbers in the pharmaceutical industry for antidepressants exploding. And that's, wow, so many ways that this virus is taking its toll on us. Mentally, physically. You see, in two states here in the United States, California and Florida, the variant, its prevalence, it's doubling in its prevalence, like every 11 or so days. We have a situation here where we have to remember, let's say like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Day in the United States, with so much international and domestic travel going on, these are how strains get into other countries. Now, we're a global society. We're a global society. To close our doors, not just the United States, most countries, to close their doors to global travel can wreak economic as well as mental havoc. It can be catastrophic, on their societies. We're used to traveling overseas, no matter where you're at on this planet, as if it's just a walk around the block or around the corner or to the local grocery store. We have relatives in other countries that we're used to seeing, we've grown up with, that have transplanted themselves from, let's say, the Eastern Hemisphere to the Western Hemisphere, vice versa. Even in Europe, it's serious. Just to cut them off can, woo. But as we travel, not just for business, but for relaxation or visit family, whatever. Some of us are unknowingly carrying this virus with us. We're transplanting it from one region to another. And at the rate of transmissibility of this virus, once it hits soil in that particular country, that region, boom, huge explosion. But you see, here in the United States, like, we can face devastating consequences to COVID-19 mortality as well as morbidity in a short period of time if we can't get this under control here in the US as well as Europe, because it's really spreading. And again, I'll repeat, just because you've survived having been infected by this virus, you have to sit with your primary care physician to discuss potential organ damage. If you feel any difference, any physiological difference regarding before and after having been infected by this virus, an organ function, your urination, bowel movement is off, heart palpitations, take stress tests, monitor kidney function, pay attention to concentration. A good thing to also do once you test negative is to take a good run, short distance run, and then see how you feel at the end of that short distance run. Do an EKG test, see an acupuncturist, because there's a lot after we do our diagnosis that we realize that maybe your doctor may not have, and vice versa. There are things that the tests that they run that they pick up that we may not pick up as acupuncturists, on dysfunctions of particular organs, so forth and so on. Because it depending on the timeline after testing negative, or so-called having recovered from having been infected by this virus, your body's feedback loop, it can disguise. It's very good. The human organism is freaking awesome, and it can disguise your shortfalls from a health perspective for a period of time. And it has been noted that there are things in your immediate intake we may not have picked up, and then eventually, wow. But it's far and few in between. It also depends on the therapist. But this UK strain is serious. And it's spreading fast, and it's there are those that are sitting back and they're waiting on their chance to be vaccinated and so forth and so on. But the opportunity just doesn't, or has not, presented itself, or wherever they're located, the vaccine is just not readily available to them. I mean, fine. Even in the interim, you have to be proactive. Again, sit with an acupuncturist. And even if you want to learn more about acupuncture, the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel has to date over 140 videos on it that can educate you on acupuncture, its effectiveness. And acupuncturists take different approaches to educating you. But Acupuncture is My Life. We try to keep it as basic as possible. Layman's terms, where you'll understand what we're talking about. you know, we try not to, and it's not it's not to look at it as an insult, you know, but we try not to, you know, discuss acupuncture from a perspective where it's just like, what the heck is this? What's that? I don't know what he or she is talking about. Maybe I should buy a textbook and figure out what the... No. We try and keep it as simple as possible. You know, I mean, we've spoken to other acupuncturists that have watched the channel, and they're like, you know, this or that. It's a lot more to it than just that. Or maybe if you'd spoken about X, Y, and Z, and then once we break it down and say, you have to understand, we've been educated in Chinese medicine and acupuncture and everything that's involved, but then you have an audience out there that have not, and you have to be conscious of that. And then it becomes a thing of, I see what you're saying, you know, because I explain, we don't do videos to teach other acupuncturists. On the YouTube channel, on the Acupuncture is My Life YouTube channel, we do videos to explain the basic functions of acupuncture, how it's effective, you know, how you can be proactive, and you know, self-diagnosis. I'm afraid to say that, you know, because sometimes, you know, we self-diagnose and you know, general population, and we're wrong. And we'll go see a doctor or an acupuncturist, and it's like, oh, I thought. But it's not bad to be wrong either, because you're learning. I've always felt learning from your mistakes a lot of times is better than not making a mistake and just learning from textbook or a teacher. But anyway, the concern here in the United States is also, you know, the UK variant is transmissibility even in the minority community. You know, and when it comes to people of color, you know, you have African Americans, you have Arab Americans, you have Indian Americans, you have Hispanics, and so forth. A lot has to do with your diet. The human organism is made up of viruses and bacteria. So don't get it twisted. A lot of people think, oh man, you know, we got to spray Lysol everywhere. We have to do this to disinfect, you know, minimize exposure to bacteria and viruses and so forth and so on. You eradicate that. I mean, it's impossible to do, but I'm just creating a scenario, and you're dead. To some extent, we need viruses and bacteria in our lives. So taking the approach of, oh my gosh, it's a bad thing. It's inside of you. It's part of your makeup. But also, too much of anything is no good. You know, and I believe in that. You know, too much of something, one thing, can be bad for you. But right now, you know, this virus is wreaking havoc on the global community. It's mutating so fast. And researchers are finding that, you know, there's cause for concern because they don't know how effective the present vaccines will be or continue to be as this virus mutates. New strains pop up, And it's adapting. It's adapting to the vaccines. It's adapting, even to approaches that we are taking as individuals to enhance our immunity. And that's cause for concern. Huge cause for concern. You see, scientists are discovering that those infected with the UK variant are carrying huge viral loads, which is cause for concern. Along with the fact that this virus is continuing to mutate. You see, globally, these variants have huge opportunity to change as they react to everyone's immune system. Think about that for a sec. Along with the various or the different types of therapies that are being administered. You see, this virus is mutating. It's reacting faster than global scientists can prepare themselves for, society for. Cause for concern. I can't say it enough. Go see an acupuncturist or contact Acupuncture's My Life. Follow Acupuncture's My Life on just about every social media platform there is. Under Acupuncture's My Life. And even on Twitter, we're at Acu_is_my_life. But we're on just about every social media platform. And we're constantly looking to educate our global audience to the many benefits of acupuncture. Constantly. And this is why you have to tune in on Wednesdays as well. Because nutrition is super important. Nutrition, because even as recent as yesterday, I'm still seeing people driving into fast food places or just grabbing things really quick on the go. And that's not good. It's not good at all. That's why Wednesday's episode is so important, because the simplest foods with natural sugars, fats, proteins. See, carbs, lipids, and proteins are so important for you. So important for your existence. So important for living a long life and healthy lifestyle. Acupuncture's My Life, Eastern Nutrition. Now, I know Chef Kiara hasn't done Eastern Nutrition episodes in a while because her travels have been interrupted globally due to the pandemic, and she's doing a lot of virtual stuff with people all over the world, and her time is just accounted for to a point that the actual cooking shows that she does with Acupuncture's My Life probably won't resume until I want to say July 2021, the earliest. So stay on the lookout for that. But other than that, it's great what she's offering us, the valuable information on what we should eat, combined with how you can benefit from acupuncture as well. Because we're in interesting times right now. We're in interesting times right now, and but the key is there's many out there in the global community. They don't have answers. They don't know where to turn, and this is why a lot are turning to Acupuncture is my life to gain some type of direction. That's why I say over and over, follow us on every social media platform under Acupuncture is my life. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to learn more about acupuncture. Follow us under Twitter at acu_is_my_life. Because so many people are becoming more aware of the benefits of acupuncture. They're contacting Acupuncture is my life. And it's even becoming easier for them just simply having downloaded the Acupuncture is my life app from the Google Play Store. But it's to some, it's that first step, that important step. And although existing under the umbrella of Chinese medicine and advocating Chinese medicine, we also advocate allopathic medicine too, because it has its benefits as well. Some people are fooled into thinking, oh my gosh, I want to only look at Ayurvedic medicine, just Chinese medicine, or even some just allopathic medicine. I don't recommend that. Just keeping your mind open. To different things really brightens your world in many ways, or can brighten your world in many ways. Ignorance is bliss. I'm telling you, that's seriously. But more and more people have contacted Acupuncture is my life relative to this virus, and now the new strain globally. Like I said, Thailand, Iran. It's interesting. But guys, gotta stay safe. And I'll come back at you on Wednesday to discuss Eastern nutrition and how you can benefit big time from what you put in your mouth. You think about junk food. Just say to yourself, nope. Especially at a time like this. Alcohol, nope. Smoking, nope. But I'll close with this. And maybe you'll undergo this mantra that I love saying. Acupuncture is my life. What's yours?